let's go live on another bicycle live stream. And it's Sunday, the 6th of October. This is the first live stream I've done on my new phone. So let's see how it goes. I've ridden 26 kilometres this morning. It's 6:38 a.m. The temperature's up to 20 degrees. Very pleasant, very nice. Didn't do any live streams last weekend because it was too windy by the time that I wanted to do the live stream. It was just too windy last weekend. It was just ridiculous. So it just didn't happen. So I had to wait until this weekend. And okay, I just got to stop for a second and do something here. Hang on a second. I hit a bump and that hit a button. And anyway, we'll see how we go. All right, thank you for everyone that's joining me. So it was my birthday on Friday, as most people will know, and the age of the body that I travel in is now 55 years. And I thought I would talk a little bit about my observations and the most important thing that I've learned in 55 years in this body, on this planet. But first I wanted to say that it was an interesting day on Friday. It was an interesting day because the night before, actually, saw my parents, and my dad gave me, well, actually, my mum gave me a birthday card that I just assumed was written by her because it was so beautiful. It was a sort of softness and just the sort of things that I'd expect her to say, of how handsome her son is and how proud of him, or both sons, how proud. Morning, Harry. Morning, Kathleen. So, again, I've hit, interesting. I must be hitting something as I'm riding along. It's triggering a little button that's coming up and saying, do you need to report a problem? Anyway, there we go. Yeah, the problem is I don't need to report a problem. So, this card I got from Mum and Dad, and it was really, really beautiful. And I finished reading it and I was very, very touched. And it turned out that Dad had written it. I should have known by the handwriting. And it was really quite, I was so more impressed that the softness shown in what was said in the card was written by Father. And I think that's one of the things that I've enjoyed seeing in later years is Father softening, which is a beautiful thing to see because, it's beautiful to see in anyone. So that was on the Thursday night, and then on the Friday morning I was working, and there was my ex-wife, who's also my PA, is also my spiritual sister, is also my best friend. She'd left a card for me, and I discovered it Friday morning in the early hours of the morning, and I've got to say, I was really, really, deeply touched by what she'd written, and it was just such a beautiful. I'm trying to tell this story, and I keep getting a pop-up. It goes, "Would you like to report a problem?" Facebook, your feedback is important to us. It's like, no, there it is. Your feedback helps us improve Facebook. So Robbie says, happy belated birthday. Here it pops up again, report a problem. There's something, I don't know, something with this new phone that, anyway, I don't know, there's something I've learned in my very first live stream on the new phone, that it's going to constantly pop up a little menu saying, do you want to report a problem? Strange. Anyway, it's just another little problem to sort out why that problem is happening. Anyway, my ex-wife had left this card, and I started reading it, and in the first few words and the first part of the card, I was brought to tears. I was just like, wow. And so that was the start of Friday morning, and then I went to work after that, and I was, let's just say I was in an emotional state. And I didn't tell anyone at work on Friday that it was my birthday, and it was a full-on day. It was busy, and I was running around and stressed, and so I wasn't in the greatest frame of mind. But that was good at the end of the day because we had a really, really nice dinner at BKA Vegan. It was 10 of us, and we had, great food and a great bunch of people, and a very rare situation where my ex-wife actually came along, and I asked her to come along, and she did. And I thought that was really, really nice, because rarely do we get the opportunity to eat out together anymore. So very, very nice. So anyway, I wanted to just share some wisdom about what I've learnt in 55 years of introspection, observation, hindsight. It'd have to be a big one. Hindsight, it'd have to be one of the biggest things. Is it going through and seeing repeated lessons for myself and for other people, and hoping to learn from them and to modify one's behaviour so that the end result is better. And by better, I mean better holistically for everyone and everything, so that the highest good is done for everything. So hindsight should bring those benefits where we look at what's happening and we say, this doesn't work, this is not good for myself or for others, and then we use that hindsight as a wisdom to better ourselves and our involvement in the world. So I've spent a lot of the last 55 years as a fairly reclusive person that's really only come out of my shell in the last 10 years, since I was married, and of course, regular viewers will know that I'm no longer married. I haven't been for quite a number of years, but I still, my best mate is my ex-wife, which is a wonderful way to resolve a situation like that. So I've spent the majority of my life really wanting to just be isolated, away from the majority of society. Of course, no man is an island, and we all need love and human contact. So it's always been this balancing act between trying to stay away from all the things that I have difficulty relating to, and and needing to fulfill the deepest spiritual need of love. So my friends tend to be few and far between, but they tend to be kindred spirit, the ones that I just feel a connection with, and where I feel that they have an understanding of some of the life lessons. They've been through similar things and maybe experienced some similar pains and similar joys. So the biggest thing that I've learned, and this applies to everything that I look at and the way that everyone else behaves in the world, is that I'm not Harry Bowman. I'm not my body. It's a label that is put on this body that every day I fall into the illusion of believing that that is who I am. But it's not who I am. It's just, let's talk collectively in the not just about myself. What I've observed is that pretty much every problem in the world, and possibly not just pretty much, but definitely every problem in the world, can be traced back to the mistaken identity that I'm my body, and to the selfishness that results, the misplaced selfishness that results from a false identification, thinking that, if I'm my body, then I need to do the things that I think will make my body happy, therefore I'll be happy. And when you look at the way, when I've looked, I'll keep it in first person, when I've looked at the way that people live their lives, this has been, it took me so long in my early years to understand what I was seeing. And then when I made the connection, thanks to the spiritual path I follow, it suddenly just became this powerful, clear understanding that if you believe that you're the body, suddenly this becomes the basis of racism, sexism, speciesism, all the isms. This becomes the basis of hatred, of war, of all the disagreements, of all the infighting, of all the things against each other. It all stems from one extremely basic misunderstanding. And if we understood that we are not the body, when we understand this, when we remind ourselves of this every day, that we are the spirit soul travelling within the body, then I can remind myself, I'm not Harry Bowman any more than a turtle is a turtle. Or, a tree is a tree. It's, that is the garment, the shell, the vehicle that I travel in. Let's use the terminology of the vehicle. That is the vehicle I travel in. And a turtle is a spirit soul, just like me, travelling in the body of a turtle. So, in 55 years of observing all the arguments, disagreements, wars, identity issues, fights, in 55 years of observing this, I've been blessed to receive wisdom from the highest source through spiritual teachings to help me understand that what I've been seeing has all come about because one person thinks they're a male, somebody else thinks they're female, and therefore there's a fight between them because of this identity, this false identity that's creating conflict. And then one person thinks that that animal is as a cow has less value than another animal as a dog, which is their pet. And again, it's a false bodily identification. So this looking at the world in this way is incredibly shallow. It just leads to, always leads to conflict. Anything outside of conflict is a temporary peace, a very shaky peace. But it always leads to conflict because underneath it all, we're selfishly identifying with that which we are not, and we are trying to fulfill the needs of that which we are not, and we are suffering the loneliness and the unhappiness and the lack of fulfillment that comes when you try to water a plastic plant. The plastic plant looks like a real plant, but watering it does absolutely nothing to it. And that's the same thing here. We are not our bodies, and if we act like we are, we can expect the results of that, which is an ongoing selfishness, ongoing lack of peace between the sexes, between the species, between the races, between anyone that says, I'm a black man and I'm a white woman and I'm a turtle and this is the biggest, most important, morning Helen, thank you for watching, the biggest, most important discovery I have made and that you will make is that you are not the body, and if you act on it, you will receive an understanding, you will see, you will get a clarity in why people act the way they do, you will receive an understanding that and a peace that comes with it that will help you in your daily life. And you will also be challenged because even though you'll know this deepest secret, you'll still be stuck in a situation where you'll be drawn back into the illusion that you're the body every minute of every day. Such is the power of the illusion. So, that's the message I wanted to get across in 55 years of travelling in this body, that I am not Harry Bowman and you are not Fred Bloggs. And when you realise this, when there is a degree of self-realisation around this wisdom, this will be a major step forward in your spiritual understanding and your self-peace. So thank you for watching, and I'll do another live stream about this in another 55 years. It's getting a bit windy now, so I'll wind this up. Remember to live vegan and save lives. And Kathleen says, understand what you're saying. Excellent, Kathleen. You're a wise person if you do. Have a great day, guys, and enjoy the long weekend if you're where the long weekend is at. Ahimsa.